Hi everyone, my name is Marvis of Marvelous Crafts Designs. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. Here on this channel, I share easy DIYs that anyone can do using Dollar Tree and other affordable items. Today we're going to be sharing 4 DIYs for the Halloween season. I'm not a big Halloween crafter, but I decided to add a few decor pieces to my home, especially for my kids around this time. So I have created some quick and simple DIYs that hopefully will get you inspired for the Halloween season. And thank you so much to all of my subscribers, and thank you for your kind words and comments. And if you're new here to my channel, I wish you that you would stick around and consider subscribing so I can share some ideas with you and get you crafting some marvelously crafted things today. So please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to let YouTube know that you're enjoying the content here on my channel. So let's go ahead and get into these DIYs. Thank you so much. So for this first DIY, we're going to make a pumpkin lighted topiary. So I picked up these pumpkin pieces from JoAnns. It was actually a banner. And so they had some that were similar size. So I just picked out two different sizes, a smaller and a larger one. And I'm coming in with some paint. This paint is called Mutant Shift by Plaid. It's like a flexible acrylic paint, and it kind of has this sparkly metallic appearance to it. And then I also used some of the Folk Art brush metal paint over top because I wanted it to have a metallic effect to this jack-o'-lantern. And I'm just kind of mixing the paints together here until I get the desired effect that I like. And so I'm going to paint all 4 pieces, front and back, for this particular piece. And then of course I'm going to come in and dry it up. I use some of those little Dollar Tree blocks, and I'm going to use those to attach the similar size pumpkins together. So the 2 larger pieces, and then I'll attach those together. So I'm just lining up those little blocks so that they fit well on the pumpkin there. And I'm actually kind of making sure it's hidden and you can't see it through the mouth of the jack-o'-lantern. And then I'm just going to come in and hot glue those onto those pieces for the top and the bottom. And once I get those hot glued, I'm going to make sure the piece can stand up on its own, which those little block pieces from Dollar Tree work well, and it made a nice little stand here for my larger pumpkin that's going to be on the bottom of our little topiary. So as you can see, it can stand up by itself. And then I'm going to come in with the smaller pieces, and you can see I'm just kind of, the larger piece had a stem on it, so I'm just kind of lining it up with the mouth of the smaller piece to make sure that you can't see the stem through the top of the mouth. And then once I had the placement together, I'm going to come in and hot glue that piece just directly onto the top of the larger jack-o'-lantern piece. I didn't want to use the blocks because I didn't want there to be a big gap in between. So I did that for the front and the back. So it was double-sided. And I'm just hot gluing that final piece onto the back there. If you also notice, I came through and I dry brushed the top of the pumpkins with some just white paint as well, just to give it a more rustic feel, a more metallic effect. And then I have the fairy lights, the copper fairy lights from Dollar Tree. And I'm just aligning that inside the pumpkin here, and I hot glued it into place. And I also tested the batteries just to make sure that my pumpkin was working. I should have did that before I attached it, but we're just kind of going with it. But my batteries work well. And so this is how it looks all lit up. And I made this piece to display in my kids' bathroom, just to I have a cute little shelf in there, and I just add things there. And so this is how it looks all light up. And now to DI number 2. And I'm coming in with this modeling clay I purchased from Temu. And this is my first time working with clay, so I don't know what was going on here. I had a little bit of difficulty. I don't know if it's because I put on the gloves and I was just having problems molding the clay, and it kept breaking off into clumps. And so you see me, I'm rolling it out, and then I rolled it out on that little glass piece here that they said that you should use when you're molding clay. But it just kept breaking into clumps. So I don't know. And then the package said to add water. So I added water to the piece and I tried to smooth it out here. And it seemed to work a little bit better, but every time I went to go pick it up, here we go again. It broke into clumps. So my people who work with clay, please let me know what I was doing wrong. But anyway, I'm coming in and I have one of the smaller terracotta pots from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this to help to mold my shape. And we are making a little ghost that we're going to put on top of a tea light. So we have a little ghost lantern. And so I'm trying to use the terracotta pot to help to shape and mold. But as you can see, I'm still having problems with that clay. Every time I go to move it around, it breaks apart. It puts a hole in it. It was falling apart. I tried to add water. I tried to add more clay. It was just not working. So people who work with clay, all my crafter friends, please let me know. Is this just the clay that I'm using, or is this user error and I'm just not good with clay? I like to try it again, but anyway, I ended up getting frustrated and I take the whole thing off of the pot, and it seemed to work best if I just used my hands to stretch out the clay prior to placing it onto the pot. So I did that first, and that worked a little bit better, and I was able to shape it a little bit better. I did still have some breaks, but what you can see that I'm doing here is I'm kind of making some pleats in the clay to kind of help it take the shape of the ghosts. You know, the ghosts are kind of flowy at the bottom. So I wanted to create that with the body of the ghost here. So I'm just kind of pleating it all around, just using my fingers just to pinch in certain areas. And then once I have my desired amount of pleats here, I end up taking the gloves off, and I came in with this little tool. It kind of looks like a straw, but I got that from Temu as well. And I'm just using that to create eyes in the little ghost here. And so I just poked it through and I worked it around and remove the excess clay there. And then I kind of go on back in with my finger and I will shape just to make sure I don't have a big gaping hole, but that it looks more like an eye instead of just a big blob or loss of clay there. And then so I put 2 eyes in, and of course I'm going to come in and make the shape of a mouth for my ghost, so that my ghost will have a mouth as well. And then the package said to let this clay dry. It's air drying clay, so we let it dry for 24 hours. So once I'm done making the shape of the mouth there and making sure it's to my liking, I set that aside and I'm gonna let that dry overnight. And here's the end result. I think he turned out cute, even though with all my struggles with that. I put a little tea light underneath there, and I'm just kind of displaying this in my powder room. On to DIY number 3. We have these wooden letters that spell out the word boo. I believe I got them from Michael's, like on clearance last year. They had holes in it, so I already pre-filled them with some wood filler and I let them dry overnight. I was just kind of sanding it down. Then I'm coming in with this one decor paint by Folk Art in white. This was not my favorite paint, but I ran out of my chalk paint. I prefer chalk paint. But I was like, well, let me try this paint. It says it's supposed to be paint and sealer all in one. It took several coats, I guess, because it's just an acrylic paint and I'm used to working with chalk paint. But anyway, so then I am coming in with a design here. I'm kind of freehanding. I wanted the letters to have a mummy design on them. And so I am trying to figure out how am I going to draw this. So I'm pulling up a picture on my tablet here. As you see, I keep pausing throughout the video. I'm trying to look at a picture and see how I want to make the design look like a mummy. So I can pretty much freehand, not really freehand. I can draw anything that I can visually look at, but I can't come up with it in my head to produce an image. But anyway, so now I'm drawing in some eyes to the mummy, and on each of the shapes I'm going to give them some different eyes. And I keep pausing because I'm looking at the photo and I'm like, this is not really looking like a mummy to me. And I'm just trying to figure out how can I make this look more like what I see in my head and to make that transpire into the images that I'm trying to draw. So I just continue on, and I lay down the B on top of the O, which is the second letter here in the word boo, and because I want to eventually attach these together, and I just continue to draw the image that I like. And then I'm coming in and I'm going to draw some, I guess they're kind of eyes that you see in like the monsters in the dark, and you just kind of see the eyes and they're kind of moving around, and they're glowing in the dark. And by the time I get to the second O, that's when I was like, oh, I know how to draw this so it looks like more like a mummy. So I kind of made thicker strips. So I would come in with two thick lines, and then I would kind of intersect them with another set of thick lines. I hope you can understand what I'm drawing here and see what I'm doing. And to me, that took on more of that mummy image I was trying to portray. So I went back to my other two letters that I previously drew, and I started to erase those, and I fixed that to my liking. And that's one thing I like about crafting. When you're doing crafts, if there's something that you don't like, you just kind of start over, but that's the creativeness of it. And so once I finally got what I wanted my images to look like, I just kind of went through there. And as you notice, I drew everything out with a pencil first. That's my little tip, especially when you're freehanding something. It's better to draw it out with a pencil, so that way if you do decide to change your mind, instead of having to paint over it or scrapping your whole project, you can just erase and come back. And then so once I get my image drawn out completely, I go ahead and attach my letters together just with some hot glue. And then to make my design bolder, I'm going to come in with my Sharpie chalk marker and just outline everything that I drew and freehanded in the pencil. So I'm just showing you that I'm coming back through. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, this is kind of looking like a zebra. And now once I've said that, you probably cannot unsee it. So you're like, this looks like a zebra. What is she doing? But anyway, so I just continue to go with it. And I like my little googly eyes here that I drew with a spiral. And to make that look less like a zebra, I decided that I'm going to distress everything, because mummies have that grimy texture feeling to the cloth that they're wearing. So I come in with some distress oxide ink, and I just started to distress everything. And I like this better. I feel like it's not looking so much like a zebra, and that you kind of get that concept and that mummy design that I wanted to portray. So at first I was just outlining it, and then I just decided I need to do the whole entire image. So I'm going to distress all of the letters with the leftover distress oxide ink that I had on the little distressing pad there. And so I'm just going to continue to do that until I like the way that it looks. And then I still felt like I needed to add something else to this little sign here. So I had these little tags from the Target dollar spot. I think I got them last year, and they had little pumpkins on them. So I just want the pumpkin. So I'm just gonna use my Cricut spatula, and that thing was stuck on there, and I had a time trying to get it off there. So once I got it off there, I decided I picked my placement, and I just hot glued it onto my sign, and I just put it where I felt like it looked best on the sign. No rhyme or reason to it, just where I liked the way it looked. And so I'm just going to come in with some hot glue and glue it there. And then, of course, I felt like I needed one more little embellishment here. So I had a different sign that had a bat on it. And I almost took my hand off trying to get that one off. But that one popped off kind of easily. And so I'm just going to glue the bat on there too. And then I'm going to also display this little sign on the shelf in my boys' bathroom. And I think it's really cute. They seem to enjoy it. And then I have my final DIY. This is DIY number 4. I picked up one of these little skeletons from JoAnns. I feel like a lot of people don't shop at JoAnns, but they have some really cute things, inexpensive things that you can pick up. So I have this skeleton, and I was thinking, well, everybody's been doing skeleton things and the same craft, and I kind of wanted to have a different concept. I was going to put this downstairs in my powder room. So first I just coming back in with that one decor paint, and I'm just going to paint the whole entire thing white. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what else can I do with a skeleton? How can I make this look kind of unique? And I have in my powder room, I have those like mandala designs on a piece that I had made earlier. And I was like, you know what? We're going to go sugar skull. I know that's not really Halloween, but more Day of the Dead. But we're going to go sugar skull, and we're going to do the entire skeleton with that. So I come in with this stencil that I have from Chalk Couture. I have tons of Chalk Couture, so I just use that because it's just easy. But you can get a stencil from anywhere. They make the adhesive stencils you can buy from Amazon. You could use a stencil from your Cricut. Anything that suits your fancy, you can just go with it. So I'm coming in with this stencil, and I just place it on top of the skeleton and trying to get the desired look that I want. So I just pick the pattern, and I also use my chalk paste, and look how cute that is. And that I just go throughout the entire body of the skeleton, and I'm just picking different parts of the design, and we're just going to add more chalk paste, and then we're going to reveal the design that we have. So I did the whole torso and the larger part of the design. And then I do have to clean my stencil in between, and I dry in between. And I'm just kind of showing you how I went about the process. And I'm just picking different areas of the design of the stencil and putting it on different parts of the skeleton body. And so I'm just going to kind of go through and let you watch me do this process for a little while. And I just dry it in between. And it's really no rhyme or reason as to which part I put on what type part of the skeleton body. I just kind of picked whatever I thought looked cute at the time. And so I did the legs and the arms and the hands, and I'm just going to keep going with that. And once I get the whole entire thing covered, then we are going to embellish it a little bit more. And I was thinking, well, sugar skulls, you know, I should come in, and maybe I should just come in and fill in the actual stencil with some additional colors. But I decided against that. And so, you know, sugar skulls also have the flowers attached to the skull as well. So I just grabbed some random florals that I had from Dollar Tree. I think they're the little mums that they have out at fall time. And these are kind of orangish. And I just decided I'm going to use those. And I started out with 3. And I was just arranging it on the head. And I was saying, well, I think 3 is a little bit too much. So I decided to just glue 2 to the top of the head of the skull of the skeleton. And then I'm going to glue the other one to the body. And so I just picked a random spot on the body. And I'm going to glue the flower onto that. And I think this turned out so cute. This is my absolute favorite of today's projects. If you are still with me, just, drop a little heart if you feel like you like this one the most as well. He is my absolute favorite. I have to come up with a name for him or something. I don't know what to call him. Mr. Bones. Put a name in the comment. What should we call our skeleton here? But I love him, and I decided to display him in my powder room downstairs, and he's sitting on top of my little sign that says, "Please seat yourself." And I think he is the cutest little thing ever, and it just gives me a little bit of Halloween spirit. And here are the rest of the projects from today, and even though I struggle with that little ghost, I think it turned out pretty cute. There's our little jack-o'-lantern there. And there's our ghost again. Those are the little pieces that I picked up from Target Dollar Spot. So grab those if you can, because they're cute little accents to your decor. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching.